때는 2023년 8월 6일 사우디컵 게이머즈 8 e스포츠 행사였습니다. 택백 리든이 초청받아 4강전 형식으로 진행됐는데요. 정명훈은 김태경을 만나 2대0으로 제압하고 결승에 진출한 상황이었고, 반대쪽에선 이재동과 송병구가 맞붙었습니다. 과연 이 둘의 대결에서는 어떤 경기 양상이 펼쳐졌을까요? 폴리포이드 맵에서 펼쳐진 그 경기, 지금 함께 감상하시죠.
Games, I think it's pretty clear jaedong would come out on top, but a best of three is a very, very different beast. Introducing our first player in the upper right, in the red, our Zerg. He is jaedong.
Protoss, it is Stork.
Style is that people learn from it and take it, right? It's not something that you always get to keep as your own. You're right here. A lot of times it does seem like in many of the modern competitive games that I see, he is trying to play around the strengths of the player rather than try to go head-to-head versus them. Little subtle thing, by the way, jaedong sends the Overlord down and just waits to see if the probe comes in that direction.
How important is this, going for a pool first in this situation? I know it's a 4-player map, so you can technically spawn anywhere, right? But getting to scout this first for Stork, this is obviously quite a big deal. Quite fortunate for him.
It's pretty handy, right? Especially if he's going to go for the Forge opening. The best player in the whole world, it still has a shot. So because Stork spots him right away, he is going to see exactly when the Lings are going to hatch. So Stork cannon out in time to not die to the Lings. If he does make a bunch of Lings and send them across the map, he might not. Something about the pathing in StarCraft 1 where the more input you put into the unit, the more you get out of it. So jaedong has to really try to micro to get damage off on that, which allows Stork to keep orbiting and checking around.
In this game, they tend to have very few drones on each base, but just taking a lot of bases, so those bases last a long time. Protoss, on the other hand, they'll probe up like crazy and have so many probes running off minimal bases, but then they can just pump out units like crazy, and Zerg have to be very careful about the aggression that's going to be thrown at them. Corsairs usually are the unit of choice, and Aspire on the way for jaedong as well.
Yeah,
it's being not out of shape, but you know, it's not every day you get to play in Saudi Arabia on a big stage, and these guys, totally different approaches here.
And it looks like more hatcheries are going to come down, and you can usually get one Overlord kill, not always, but you also want to try to figure out, okay, is there any obvious tech or any surprises that are coming my way? This here for Stork, he's going to get that one now. He knows he has to get back, so we want to watch this very carefully. The trajectory of not just this Scourge, but north of this one. Can this juke and jive, can this zig and zag and try to get out of here? He eats one shot, so one more will take it out. Meanwhile, the other escapes.
I mean, overall, how do you think this feels for both these players? Because, I mean, obviously you want to grow that core. Is Stork going to be able to, I was going to say, is he going to be able to get away? No, not against the Dong.
It's playable for both sides. jaedong is in the phase now where he could probably park making more drones and instead start to really mass up a bunch of Hydras. Over here for Stork, I mean, everything's looking very normal. I believe that should be the +1 air attack upgrade finishing.
DTs on the field as well. I'm always amazed by how good DTs are in this game, because you tell me Overseers have, or rather Overlords have detection immediately, and it's like somehow DTs seem to get down a lot of cannons at his front wall there, so he is sort of prepared for this, but that's a lot of Hydras here.
Yeah, we have the probes that are pulled here. 4 cannons is usually the number that you can buy a little bit of time, but you also need to have that Psy Storm, and we can see more probes are going to be pulled. He's going to try to drag these through the Hydras and trip them up and try to get any kills that he can get. But I don't know, man. I mean, he might just die outright here because I don't think Storm's done, but is it too late? You need some supplementary units here to try to fight this. We have some more Zealots coming out. We should have a second Storm inbound here. It looks like instead jaedong wants to go for the Forge.
Draft 2, the Protoss wants to be very far ahead in supply, and right now you see they're both neck and neck. That was so much eco damage.
But Stork seems to be an okay recovery. That being said, I mean, the truth is jaedong has not even really taken a scratch yet, right?
No builds here and there, but that is still a very respectable number of Hydras, and they micro so well against the melee units, just moving away little blocks, then you see the other Hydras still shooting. But Stork with Storm available, this is not StarCraft 2 Storm. This Storm actually packs a massive punch.
Lost the rest.
That'll be
somewhere
sad.
In this game.
Yeah, that'll be super sad if that is the case, but there is little engagements going on. The High Templar count's getting decent. He's got at least 3 Storms here, and you can see how well these Zealots tank against this army actually right here.
Yeah, Stork pretty patient with the Storms. He wants to wait until he finds a real sweet spot like that one right there. That was sick. Good. He's going to morph this, but I don't see a lot over here, and I feel like maybe it would have been better to try to just spam out your Storms and wait, and then go back home. And look at the micro. Every damaged Hydra turns into a lurker. Now the Pathian will not default onto the egg. It'll always attack something else.
And so micro absolutely solid. It's so hard to do in this game. You can only have 12 units per group kind of thing, or select 12 units max. And look at this, these Hydras,
Wow.
GG is called. Splitting them like Marines in StarCraft 2.
To the casual observer, because it doesn't seem like a whole lot happened. First of all, Stork did literally just tap out, run back. And so I think it's a little bit of a better way to play. But anyways, we're ready to go now into game number 2. In the center left, our Protoss player, one of the 4 legends. He is Stork.
Is jaedong over on the right side.
Marketing level, he was one of the guys that made the game cool, if that makes sense. You know, there's plenty of pro gamers that are maybe more timid, or a game to a level that we just never anticipated, being able to abuse units in ways that we hadn't seen before.
I like what you say about the Muna Micro stuff, because like guys that come along and do it better, and you know, you had players like July Zerg that kind of invented Muna Micro, and then jaedong's like, hold the phone, you can do that? And it's like, okay, I can do that with 2 groups at a time kind of thing, and there's obviously very good enough at the time to practice for the guy, which to me, that is just one of the most amazing things to hear, that you two are so ahead of your field, and it's just like, yeah, we might as well practice against each other because nobody else will do the job.
Coming down a little bit further away from the natural, they confirm that it's not going to be over there. They take, make cannons over there. They just set that 3rd hatch up where the 2nd normally is. So honestly, we have a game that very much mirrors the previous one. Notice the layers being made up here. See, he wants to try to show the layer as late as possible. And one thing about this map is the 3rd base is uncomfortably far from the 2nd and the 1st. Actually get it in this little turn over here. Yes, he does.
That is nice by him. 3 bases up and running for jaedong. Not all yet mining. Obviously getting out a few links just to deal with the drone early on. jaedong.
Air weapons being upgraded at the cybernetics core. You know, air weapons, it's a style of play to power up the Corsairs. You could still go get a couple Corsairs and play the game otherwise, just by control. And a lot of them still have the key popped off, even though you can just disable it out of comfort.
Habit for sure. Alrighty, first Corsair does get a little bit of damage done. Evo Chamber does eventually start here for on these Corsairs. They are fairly tanky units indeed, but they can last the entire game and just be a real nuisance for the Zerg, because as soon as your Hydralisks are out of position one time,
I mean, it's always been around for a reason. Basically, you want to get a bunch of lurkers. I love this, by the way, to run into the main. This is a real jaedong move here, and just cause some chaos and slow down what Stork's doing over here.
They do so much damage to units once they get on top of him. Like, obviously the pathing's a little bit wacky and stuff, but he's reacting very calmly, but as soon as they touch probes, man, they are just popping.
Yeah,
that's a big attack.
Yeah, the Zealots are going to come forward here. The Corsairs are damaging these Overlords. And I got to say, I mean, the scary part is the Zealots keep hitting. Okay, I think he backs up. I was going to say, you kill off a couple Overlords, you can already see jaedong's supply block. Remake them. It's pretty scary. But jaedong's doing a great job with these few lings that he has. It looks like he's going to send 1 probe to try to one-shot the 1 weaker Zergling. And he mistargets it. He didn't click on the right one.
Oh my, I mean, this is really slowing down Stork a lot. Like, the gas income, absolutely shot for him.
Come out here and generate a threat. And sometimes the way to look at this, if you're not familiar with the matchup, is to think of them just like they're vultures. The Zealots, like they can hit something, can run away. Oh no, it happened again!
But it does look like he does have Storm available, and he's feeling like he can move out now. Now, this is the long trek across the map, and even though maps can feel pretty small in a way, they're also huge. And these
1 Templar, okay, he does at least get the Storm off, and he actually manages to save it, surprisingly. So it was a moment that it looked like it could have been really bad, but he
thing. And look at his supply here, Nick. Like, his supply has been absolutely growing here. And the Hydra count's crazy. Corsair number 3 does go down, so no more scouting for Stork at this position either.
I think Mutas were picked off here and there. The Mutas can just now pick off Templars. And so this is why, even if the Corsairs aren't killing a lot, you don't want to lose them. Because a couple Corsairs can basically, just like a couple of Phoenixes can in StarCraft 2, they can at least address the Mutalisks.
Quite a lot of goons, so he does have some anti-air in the mix, but these bases are very vulnerable, and it's hard to get back into your base as a Protoss player because, you know, you've got a lot of buildings in the way, but Stork does evacuate pretty damn nicely, but jaedong would not be jaedong if he didn't know how to control Mutas very nicely.
And Dragoons can beat... Oh, man. Dragoon's problem. He's remaking Corsairs. Sometimes, if you're down on Corsairs, you'll see a Dark Archon made, and they'll try to Maelstrom and catch the mutas. But I
To like stun them all, right? Or basically lock them in position.
you know, funnily enough, he actually is going to try to target down Dragoons, just see what kind of value he can get. But the 4 Templars that are just hugging the pylon to the left of the screenshot, that's right. It's pretty scary to try to deal with. The mutas are going to come in again, and he just wants to see if he can fish any of this back here. One cannon does not need to be respected, Ben, and so he's going to take that. And now I think we're in a game where it seems like Stork is just going to try to YOLO it.
Probably not a good sign, and being greeted by that many lurkers on the high ground especially, I mean, that is a scary Zerg army. And
oh my god, he got the observer.
Oh,
he
so
can't even see it.
He can't even move up the tramp. He can't do it. I mean, like,
it is huge. And so we can see Stork is going to try to go around that, as he probably has another observer inbound here. It's a big map. Here's that observer I was talking about. But is there going to be an opening?
Do here, another High Templar does go down. I heard a little scream go on.
Yeah, this is a 15-minute maxed out Zerg, actually even less than 15 minutes. And there's just no damage being done at all over here. And I think, frankly, there's just no way that the Protoss is ever going to get through here. In fact, he's got a nading over here. You can see as Stork thinks he might be getting close from behind the Lings, and the mutas come up, the lurkers come and burrow, and we may actually see him tap out here in GG.
I mean, this is a horror story if you're a Protoss player. Like, this whole army just got absolutely enveloped over here, and he is chasing him down with lurkers. He's not even using the static D anymore, just absolutely sending Stork packing, and he does great play out of jaedong this game, and eventually these observers join the field, but oh,
there it is.
GG. Well played.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Whoa! You guys know the song?
got absolutely destroyed.
He got smashed. I can't believe it.
두 경기 모두 다소 허무하게 끝난 경향이 있습니다. 첫 번째 경기에서는 저그가 올인도 아니고 단순 찌르기였는데 타이밍을 잘못 쟀는지 거기에서 피해를 너무 많이 봐서 이후 어쩔 수 없이 악한 질럿템 반 올인 러시를 시도했습니다. 하지만 유리한 상황도 아니고 불리한 상황에서 질템 러시는 저그가 너무 손쉽게 막을 수밖에 없는 구조였습니다. 두 번째 경기에서도 토스가 주도권을 잡고 뒤흔들어야 할 타이밍에 오히려 저글링이 난입하면서 어지러운 구조가 됐고, 그 여파로 소수의 커세어도 다 죽으며 뮤탈이 뜰 수 있는 타이밍을 제공했습니다. 커세어가 없으니 바로 뮤탈이 찍혔고, 그 뮤탈의 피해를 많이 보며 또 토스는 반 올인식의 한방 러시를 준비할 수밖에 없었습니다. 하지만 첫 타에서 옥저버도 끊기고 이미 저그는 수비 라인을 다 갖춰놓은 상태라 한방 병력 또한 괴멸당하며 게임을 내줄 수밖에 없었습니다. 이재동이 날카롭게 잘한 것도 맞지만 송병구 선수의 경기력이 다소 아쉬운 경기들이었습니다. 다음에도 좋은 영상으로 찾아뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다.